bit higher of a shock. There was a 12 right there. I mean, this thing's kicking pretty good. What's going on, everybody? It is Cam here with Easy Work Acres, and today I want to go over the SolarStop 80 fence energizer. So basically, we are upgrading our fence energizer. So we have the Premier One fencing poultry netting, which is what we've used. It's been great. And by the way, I'm not sponsored by Premier One or anything like that. Basically, we've just had the fence. We like the fence, but the energizer we had was just a cheap energizer because we were trying to stay as low cost as possible when we were first getting into chickens, but we were ready to go to a solar option because having to charge the battery and stuff like that has just been a headache, and we would rather not have to do that anymore. So we got this solar charger, so I wanted to do a full unboxing of it to kind of show you what you get in the box, and then we'll go over how it does after about a week of use and stuff, and give you a follow-up on how this energizer does it. Alrighty, so opening the box, got the battery right there on top. So the first thing I'm gonna do is go ahead and check this for charge. Awesome, and we are at 12.75 volts. So this thing is charged and ready to go. So we should be able to hook this right up to our fence and get rocking with it. All right, another thing I liked about this, comes with a grounding rod, and this is all you'll need as far as a grounding rod for this thing. So I was pretty happy to see that. Because grounding rods have been a problem for us because with the charger we had before, it had to have the big, huge, deep grounding rods in the ground and 3 of them and all this stuff because it was like a cattle fence charger. And that was a pain to move around, obviously, for obvious reasons. When you're hammering stakes in that deep, it's a little rough to move. So with this solar charger, we don't need grounding rods that deep. We just need this single one right here, and it should be ready to rock. Oh, yeah. All right, so this is the SolarStop 80 right here. It's a pretty daggone good size solar panel on there. Oh, so cool. So something cool about this is it actually comes with a DC charger so that you can charge it with a plug-in too. If you are running on a place where you don't have a lot of sunlight for a lot of time or anything like that, and your charger is lacking in charge from just day-to-day sunlight, you can get it a full charge using a DC cable. So this kit also comes with a digital tester, which I have one, but I think it might not be working right anymore. I think it got left out in the rain. Don't do that, but it comes with a full digital tester so you can test the fence, so we'll definitely be doing that once we get this all hooked up. All right, so you can see it's got these lead wires coming out of here, and these are already ready to go as far as sliding right on the battery, and we should be able to hook this up. So you'll see there's one that has like a bigger opening, and that slides right on to that battery, and then it's good to go. Then you just slide the battery in. Yeah, and I was right, it does sit in there with that foam, so definitely recommended to keep the foam in there. Don't tear it out, it's not part of the packaging. It's actually, the battery sits right down on top of that. And then from there, I mean, that is everything. Just put the battery in, and then from here, we're just gonna close this up. So as far as clips go, these are actually really, really nice clips. These are nicely coated, like they're well coated and everything. It's got a nice ring on there for you to be able to screw onto the charger, and then a nice big clip to be able to clip on to the fence. So these are much better quality than the charger we had before. So I'm pretty excited to see that. And it looks like the leads go right on the back of here. Oh yeah. So if you look in there, I don't know if you can see that, but see that flashing light? That means that's an indicator that you are getting good amount of sunlight to the actual solar panel. So if the solar panel is getting what it needs to charge the battery, then it has this little indicator light that is blinking here so that you know that you're getting a good charge coming from just solar power only. But this thing is set up and ready to go. We're gonna go ahead and move our chickens and get the charger hooked up and see what this thing hits. Alrighty, so we are out at our fence now. We got the chickens moved and everything. We have this charger out here now. And this is the grounding rod like I showed you up at the truck. And basically this is about 18 inches long or so. Just shove it down in the ground. I've already pre-shoved it so you didn't have to sit here and watch me fight it, but it actually stuck in the ground pretty daggone easy. Just step on it like one of your stakes, it goes right in. Go ahead and attach my grounding rod. And then you got your live side here, and that's gonna clip to the fence. If you have a Premier One fence, and probably any fencing, they're gonna have these little metal clips where the two ends meet. You just clip it on there. And then there are two settings on this here. So if you look, if you flip down, you're on energy saver mode. If you flip up, you're on max output mode, and then in the middle is where it's turned off. Now I would say if you're turning your fence on and off, definitely make sure that you don't flip from max output down to energy saver or vice versa and shock the crap out of yourself by touching the fence and not realizing that you have flipped one way or the other. But it seems to like fall right in the middle. You got to give it some force to accidentally turn it on. Just from what I'm feeling here is I feel like I'd really have to be just over pressing to do that. But you got two settings here. Let's see what the energy saver mode hits on this digital tester here. All right, so those of you that never used a digital tester before, on one end, you have this little probe right here that you stick down in the ground, and basically that's gonna be your ground. And then you have the digital tester, which has a little metal probe here. Now it's on energy saver mode now. And right out the gate, 7.6, 7.9, 7.6, 8.3. So we're getting really, really good voltage here. Like that's awesome to read. That's a 10 right there. And this is pulses. So it's multiple pulses. It's not a constant current. This is ticking every like 2 to 3 seconds, some kind of shock or pulse. So this is shocking good. So let's take a look at the max output setting and see what we're hitting on the max output setting here. Max output, we're talking 9 and above. So a little bit higher of a shock. There was a 12 right there. I mean, this thing's kicking pretty good, but I think energy saving mode is gonna be more than enough. All right, so another thing I wanted to show you real quick with this, and this can go with any electric fencing, is an easy way to accidentally ground your fence. And let me show you just the difference in the electric current going through this thing when this happens. So if you look how these poultry netting fences are on the ends where the fence actually meets, they have these little loops around them here. Well, this bottom loop down here can, when you're stepping in your post, can slide down and it'll be touching that metal down there, right there. And you'll be out here trying to figure out why the heck your fence is not hitting the charge it's supposed to. So let me show you the difference. All right, so we got that loop down there on that metal. Look at the difference in the shock here. 1.8, 1.6, 1.8. Like, it will dumb your fence down ridiculously. Now, I've been out here before with my old charger and been out here for like 2 hours trying to figure out why my fence is not functioning correctly. And then it all came down to that right there. I was sitting there, I was like out here with scissors mowing the grass, and I was like, surely there's no way that some blades of grass are dumbing this fence down this much. We kept troubleshooting the charger, all kinds of stuff, and it was that right there. So if you have a fence, the Premier One fencing or anything related, check that out when you step in your posts to make sure that that's not touching, because it is extremely frustrating. I even thought for a minute that this charger just wasn't strong, this one right here, and then I remembered that that was a possibility. I went over and fixed it, and bam, it was kicking out 8,000 volts. So definitely check that loop. All right, so we got it all set up. We've seen what our first day of charge is. We're gonna give it a couple days to be running consistently, as well as give time for the grass to grow, get some overcast and some rain, because we have that coming up this week, and we'll come out here and test the fence and see what the charge is on like a rainy overcast type of day, with it being a solar charged fence. Alrighty, so we are about 5 days into having this charger up on our fence, and it has been raining nonstop all day long, all overcast and stuff. So I wanted to do a charge test on it after a full day of overcast, running all day in wet weather. And like I said, this is like day 4 or 5. So the grass has grown up a little bit too. So there's going to be some strands touching some of those bottom lines, and we'll see, you know, what kind of shock this is still giving after all of those are factored in. All right, so we'll give it a test here. Let's see what we're getting. Still getting 7,000 and 8,000 volts here, which is awesome. And this is wet weather. Grass has been growing for, you know, almost a week now, and it is still giving us a really good charge. So that's good to see. This thing is killing it, and it's still on just energy saver mode and still kicking out all of that charge, and it's still gathering light. So that orange blinking light means that it is gathering sunlight in order to charge. So even with overcast, this thing is pretty effective at getting a charge. All right, so it's day 7, and I have to say this thing has done pretty freaking awesome. So about, I guess 2 days after we hooked this thing up, we had 3 straight days of overcast, 2 of which were extremely rainy days, rain nonstop from morning to night. And this thing never got less than 7.6. 7.6 was the absolute lowest reading we got on our fence tester. And that was with wet weather and it being overcast all day. And this solar charger, which is getting power from sunlight, didn't have any issue having 3 straight days of overcast and obviously nighttime and everything like that. It kept a full charge and was able to keep this fence lit up like it should be. Besides that, the overall quality of it is just awesome. Like, this thing is solid, it's weatherproof, the switches on the side are really nice. 2 is there's all kinds of fence chargers out that don't have on and off switches, which is just beyond me why you wouldn't have a switch to turn a fence on and off. But there's all kinds of them out there, so whether you're looking for a fence charger, this exact one or another one, look for an on-off switch. This thing, that has been one of the best parts of this whole thing. 2 is just the quality of the switches and everything, as well as the indicator light on the back to let you know if it's getting good sunlight to charge the daggone thing, so that you know for sure that it's getting a charge like it should be. There's indicator lights to let you know that it's pumping out electricity, so that you know that it's hitting on the fence like you should be. All of that. The clips on the grounding and everything, awesome quality. So overall, I think falling just under the $300 range, this thing did exactly what I needed it to. It charged this 164-foot roll of fence, and it says online for this exact charger that it can run 3 to 5 rolls of these fences. So I guess it's 3 to 5 range because it obviously depends on what you're going to be running it on, if you're going to be in tall grass and all kinds of other stuff. But one way or the other, this thing can expand with us. So as we continue to grow our operation, it can grow with us, and I'm not going to have to replace this charger right away. And I think with the durability of it, it's going to last us a long time anyways. So I'd say for a small farm setup, if you have the money to invest in a charger, I think this one's going to save you a lot of money in the long run, because the cheap one that we got that was about 80 bucks, I wish I could remember the brand. It starts with a Z, but it didn't last. It ended up frying out after a certain amount of time. After about like 1.5 seasons, it basically fried out on us. This thing has done phenomenal. I think that the fact that it came in fully charged and ready to go so we could hook it right up was just a plus, but overall this thing did great. So for a small farm setup, the Stop 80 is great. The Premier One Stop 80 solar fence charger gets a thumbs up from me. So hopefully this video was helpful to you. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you did like this content, or if this review was helpful for you. We'd love to keep sharing things around our farm that could be helpful to you. And please keep leaving comments with things that could be helpful to us. We definitely have incorporated all kinds of different things that we've seen in comments so far. And we love to, share ideas with each other. This is what this is all about. It's sharing ideas and being able to put it out on your own farm as well as ours. So you all have a good one. Thanks for watching our video, and we will see you in the next one.